I watched my wife disappear, and she was standing right next to me the whole time. My name is not important. What matters is what I'm about to tell you happened to me. And it's happening to thousands of men right now. Men who still live with their wives. Men who sleep in the same bed. Men who share a life on paper but share nothing else. I'm 82 years old. I've lived long enough to see patterns repeat themselves, to watch good things die slowly, and I want to tell you about the slowest death I've ever witnessed, the one nobody talks about, the one that happens in silence. It starts so quietly you don't even notice. She's there, making breakfast, organizing the house, asking how your day was, all the normal things. But something is different. Something is gone, and you can't quite name it. At first you think it's work stress, or age, or the natural rhythm of a long marriage. But then you realize she's not really there anymore. I remember the exact moment I understood. We were sitting on the couch. The television was on. She was next to me, close enough to touch, but there was a distance I'd never felt before. Not physical distance, something deeper. A chasm that had been growing for years without me seeing it. I reached over and touched her hand. She didn't pull away, but she also didn't respond. It was like touching a statue. She was aware. She acknowledged the gesture with a slight nod, but there was no warmth, no electricity, no response that suggested she felt anything at all. And in that moment I understood something that has haunted me every day since. The woman I married had already said goodbye. She had already let me go. I had watched her disappear, and I did nothing to stop it, because I didn't even know it was happening, because disappearance at our age isn't dramatic. It's not a leaving. It's not a fight or a conversation or a decision made in anger. It's the slow erosion of presence. It's the accumulation of small moments where you weren't there, where you didn't notice, where you assumed there would always be time. Let me tell you what I missed, what I failed to see, what I was too blind or too busy or too arrogant to notice while it was happening. She tried to talk to me first. Not once, not twice. Many times, she said she felt alone. With hope in her eyes, she said she missed me. She said she wanted to reconnect. She said she was scared of losing us. She said the distance between us was growing and she didn't know how to cross it anymore. And what did I do? I was busy. I was working on things I thought were important. Building things, achieving things, proving things. And I told her we'd talk later. I promised tomorrow. I said soon. But I didn't really listen. I heard the words, but I didn't hear the desperation underneath them. I heard the plea, but I didn't comprehend what she was actually asking me. She was asking me to see her. She was asking me to choose her. She was asking me to put down the things I was building and look at the relationship that was crumbling. And I said, later. Later never came. And when a woman stops trying to be heard, she stops trying to be seen. That's when she started to disappear. Not all at once, gradually, layer by layer. First she stopped reaching for my hand. Then she stopped asking about my day with genuine interest. The questions became habitual, mechanical. Then she stopped laughing at my jokes. Then she stopped sharing things that mattered to her fears, her dreams, the small moments she used to tell me about. Then she stopped looking at me when I spoke, and I'm ashamed to admit I barely noticed, because I was still there. I was still present. I was still sleeping next to her. I was still providing. I was still doing the things a husband does. But I wasn't there, not really, and she knew it. So she made a choice, not consciously, but with every fiber of her being. She chose to stop trying. She chose to stop investing in a one-way street. She chose to build a life inside herself, separate from me, and now I watch her live beside me like we're strangers. We share a house, but not a home. We share a bed, but not a connection. We share a life on paper, but share nothing in our hearts. And the cruelest part is this: she's not angry anymore. And that's what terrifies me most. Anger would be a sign that she still cares, that she's still fighting, that she still believes something can change. Anger is passion. Anger is hope. Anger is the sound of someone who still wants to be heard. But she doesn't feel that anymore. She's just tolerant. And tolerance is the death knell of a marriage. Because tolerance means she's accepted the loss. She's made peace with the fact that I'm not coming back to her. She's stopped hoping. She's stopped believing. She's stopped investing. She's moved the best parts of herself somewhere I can't reach. Tolerance means she's already mourned us, and she's moved on, while still being here. She exists next to me the way you exist next to someone on a crowded train. Present, but present without presence. Close enough to touch, but infinitely far away. And that tolerance is worse than any betrayal, because betrayal is a choice made in passion. Betrayal is someone leaving to be with someone else. Betrayal is drama and pain and anger. But tolerance is a choice made when passion dies completely. Tolerance is someone staying but surrendering. Tolerance is the slow acceptance that the best of what you had together is gone forever. And it's infinitely more painful. I see other men like me, men my age who've been married for decades, who still have their wives at home, who still share their lives physically, but when you look into their eyes, you can see the same thing I see in my wife's eyes. Absence, she's there, but she's not there. He's there, but he's not there. And they're both pretending it's normal, that this is what marriage becomes, that this is the natural progression. But it's not. It's the result of choices made years ago. Moments we didn't show up for. Conversations we didn't have. Connections we let die because we assumed they would last forever. I understand now that marriages don't end in betrayal or fights or dramatic moments. They end in silence. They end when someone stops trying to reach you and you don't even notice she stopped. They end when presence becomes mere coexistence. And by the time you realize what's happened, the work of rebuilding is nearly impossible. Because when a woman stops fighting for the relationship, when she stops hoping, when she stops believing you're capable of seeing her, she's already gone. And even though she's sleeping next to you, even though she's in the kitchen making dinner, even though she's right there, she's disappeared. I tell you this not to be dark. I tell you this because it's the truth that nobody wants to speak. Because there are men right now in beds next to women who have already left them. There are men walking through their homes blind to the fact that their wives stopped being present years ago. And there are men who, like me, have finally seen it. Too late to do anything about it. The woman I married is gone. What remains is a shell. Functional, polite, but not present. And that's the real tragedy. Not infidelity. Not abandonment. But the slow disappearance of someone you love while they're still standing next to you. So I'm telling you this. If you're still married to someone who's trying to reach you, if you still hear her voice when she speaks, if you still see hope in her eyes, wake up, because she won't wait forever. And when she stops trying, when she stops hoping, when she finally accepts that you're not coming back to her, when she surrenders completely, that's when she disappears, not physically, but in every way that matters, in every way that counts. And even though she's still there, even though she's still in your home, even though you can still see her face every morning, even though you can still hear her voice, she's gone. And you'll spend the rest of your life knowing you watched it happen and did nothing to stop it. You'll replay conversations in your mind, moments you could have chosen differently, times she reached out and you turned away, hours you spent on meaningless things instead of on her. and you'll realize that presence is a choice, and you chose wrong. This is the real death, not the one that ends a life, but the one that ends a presence while a body still remains. The slow dissolution of intimacy while you're sleeping in the same bed, the gradual evaporation of connection while you're sharing a household, the quiet erasure of partnership while you're still technically married on paper. I watched my wife disappear, and I was too blind to see it was happening. And even now, knowing what I know, knowing the signs I missed, knowing exactly when I could have stopped it, I don't know how to bring her back. Some disappearances are permanent.